do you believe that a lot of the times our procrastination, these obstacles that we face, it's almost a fear of succeeding. It's procrastination, which brings back these seemingly insurmountable obstacles. We were speaking with Linda Lord last week, and she brought up a phenomenal conversation piece when I had asked her. I said, do you believe that procrastination is because of fear and a fear of failure? And when we really think about it, we could say, yeah, it is. But also there could be that underlying fear of succeeding. Because if I do it once, people are going to expect me to do it again and again. Do you believe in those two pieces of the puzzle that actually, evolve and produce procrastination?
That's the thing about it. I do believe that, I have wrestled with fear of failure. I've wrestled with fear of success. I've wrestled with what that looks like. And I'm not sure if they're related to procrastination. It sometimes, because I find myself, it's like, I've been, that's sort of a mission for me this month, is taking a look at where I'm giving my power to. And that's often related to where I'm giving my time.
Yes.
And, when I'm, sitting there playing a video game for the second hour, wondering, what's going on here. Sometimes a video game's just a video game. I don't think it's because I'm afraid of success. I think it's just maybe I just don't really feel like doing anything else, or I don't have the energy for anything else. And for me, in a way, that's almost like the repetitive thing of beading or knitting or something. But, I'll have to take a look at that. I do think procrastination, that's a good question, because I got an A in that one. Although I do eventually get things done. I think sometimes for me, if I get into that A personality, maybe for me, procrastination might be sort of my way of just taking a break. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Okay. I'm also really good at rationalizing, so I'm not sure here. So,
see, I've always put it, and I wrote a blog about this as well, because I really stopped. And Jane, I started thinking about it, and I said, okay, I use the analogy of salespeople. Mm-hmm. Okay, salespeople know they must cold call in order to get new clients. It is almost virtually impossible to build a customer base, especially if you're just getting into an industry, without meeting people you've never met before, without calling people you've never met before. But you will be very lucky to find, I think probably 1 in 100 that like cold calling.
Right.
And you will get, because of that fear of rejection, because of that fear of, I just don't feel like being hung up on today. I don't feel like getting people telling me they don't need what I'm offering. I offer great service. I offer great value. My product is da-da-da-da-da-da, whatever the case may be. But they'll take that one piece and they'll, stub their toe on the way into work, or a customer will call in and they'll make a production out of whatever they've stubbed their toe or their customers called in, to avoid that sales call, that cold call. And that procrastination, really, when you drill down real deep, resorts back to failure. They're afraid of failing at making those connections, but they know they have to do it to better their life, to get more commission, whatever the case may be, but they still continually don't do it. And that's why so many salespeople, they go on this stretch where they do all this cold calling, they're starting to feel really good about it, and then their business gets to a point where they can live and they can enjoy life, and then they lose a customer. And it takes them so much longer to get back into it because they didn't continue. So that immediately, that paradigm of cold calling was replaced with the paradigm that I don't want to be rejected. That's where I came from when I wrote the blog, and that's a lot where this question comes from, because it, like you said, you've really got to think about that. And is in some part procrastination in everybody, because we might have a little tiny fear locked up inside us that we haven't yet overcome.
I think we've all got that. I mean, we peel back these layers, and it's like, probably one of the best things that ever happened to me was hitting 50. And that was a few years ago. Something happened when I turned 50 where I just didn't have the energy to care anymore. Now, what I care about the quality of my work. I care about the integrity of my work. I care about the authenticity of my presentation. But if somebody disagrees with me, that used to just destroy me. I remember once early in my career, I did a presentation and it was for teachers, I think. Yeah, it was for teachers. Because most of my market is either teachers or I do a lot of training for parents as well. This was a group of teachers, and I got the evaluations back at the end. And I got things like, oh, this was life-changing for me. I can't wait to put this into, my classroom. And you've just solved problems I've been having for years. And thank you. Best workshop I've been to in 26 years. And I get to one that says, I hate your hair. Mm-hmm. Guess which one stuck in my head?
I hate your hair.
Exactly. I mean, I'm driving, looking in the review. What's wrong with my hair? And it was like, whatever. I turned 50 and I get that kind of stuff, and it's like, oh, you're wrong, or, oh, don't. Now, if somebody says your ideas were not clear enough, that one I will integrate. That one I will pay attention to. But if somebody thinks my lipstick didn't go with my blouse, they're probably right, because I kind of don't care about that stuff. And, let's move on.
Well,
let's just move on. Let's we were talking about different ways to handle this kind of rejection. Sometimes rejection, I've got a stack of rejection letters. Believe me. I mean, for every book I've had published, and I've been remarkably lucky because I've pitched a lot of books that have just gone right to contracts, I'm trying to think, have I ever procrastinated, like, with pitching a book? Not for fear of failure and not for fear of success. It's more just like, do I want to do another book right now? Because when I'm working on a book, it's like the rest of my life just disappears. Mm-hmm. I don't know, I really have to think about that procrastination. I'm going to be watching myself for the next few days at least. Mm-hmm.